A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a striking juxtaposition, the grand military parade that President Donald Trump had long sought finally took place on his 79th birthday, drawing not only admiration from supporters but also igniting massive protests across the nation. On Saturday, Washington, D.C.'s Constitution Avenue was transformed into a showcase of military might, featuring over 6,000 soldiers, 128 tanks, and a ceremonial 21-gun salute. However, the spectacle was overshadowed by widespread demonstrations against what many are calling Trump's authoritarian tendencies. The protests, organized under the banner of the No Kings Coalition, saw thousands of Americans take to the streets in cities from coast to coast, expressing their disdain for the Republican leader and advocating for the preservation of democracy. As the parade commenced amid light rain and clouds, Trump watched from a special viewing stand south of the White House, relishing the display of military prowess that he had envisioned since witnessing a similar event in Paris back in 2017. The parade was part of a larger celebration marking the 250th anniversary of the United States Army, but it quickly became a focal point for dissenters who branded Trump a dictator and a would-be king. The protests were not limited to Washington. They resonated in urban centers and rural towns alike. In New York City, Denver, Chicago, Austin, and Los Angeles, demonstrators marched shoulder to shoulder, waving No Kings banners and chanting anti-authoritarian slogans. In Seattle, an estimated 70,000 people gathered for what has been reported as the city's largest rally, while Atlanta's event reached its capacity of 5,000, with many more left outside the barriers. The protests were fueled by recent actions taken by the Trump administration, including the controversial deployment of the National Guard and Marines to Los Angeles amid escalating tensions over federal immigration enforcement. The demonstrations largely remained peaceful, with organizers emphasizing their commitment to nonviolence. Local authorities, however, were on high alert, with some governors mobilizing the National Guard in anticipation of potential unrest. In Los Angeles, tensions flared after police deployed tear gas to disperse crowds near federal buildings, leading to clashes between law enforcement and protesters. The situation grew increasingly volatile as the day progressed, particularly in New York City, where some arrests were made. The No Kings Coalition issued a statement declaring, "Today, across red states and blue, rural towns and major cities, Americans stood in peaceful unity and made it clear, we don't do kings." This sentiment echoed throughout the nation as demonstrators voiced their commitment to democratic principles and immigrant rights. The protests also highlighted the deep divisions within the country, as many citizens expressed their concerns over Trump's policies and the perceived erosion of democratic norms. In a notable development, Puerto Rico joined the protests, with demonstrators in San Juan expressing their discontent with Trump's immigration policies. The events of Saturday serve as a stark reminder of the current political climate in the United States, where the lines between support and opposition have become increasingly polarized. As the night wore on, it was clear that the protest would continue, with many participants vowing to remain vigilant in their fight for democracy. The dual spectacle of a military parade and nationwide protests encapsulates the ongoing struggle for the soul of the nation, as Americans grapple with the implications of their leadership and the future of their democratic institutions. As we move forward, the question remains, will the voices of dissent be heard, or will the call for democracy be drowned out by the drumbeats of militarism? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain, the spirit of resistance is alive and well across the United States. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.